In the year 2189, Earth was no longer the safe, blue planet of legend. A massive solar flare, known later as the Wrath, had erupted from the Sun's core 5 years earlier, tearing a hole through the magnetic field and bathing the surface in deadly radiation. Governments fell, oceans boiled in regions. Humanity fractured into desperate fragments of survival. What remained of civilization hid beneath the ground, inside radiation-shielded cities or bunkers left behind by corporate warlords. But it wasn't just the surface heat that threatened them now, it was what the sun's radiation had changed. People began mutating, not all, just some. No one understood why. Some gained accelerated healing, strength, or other bizarre traits. Others decayed into mindless, hostile beings called Ashborn monsters that lived in the scorched zone and fed on what was left of humanity. In the ruins of old Arizona, under what had once been a university-turned-underground colony, a woman named Dr. Kaylin Meyer worked quietly. A geneticist-turned-refugee scientist, she studied radiation-induced mutations in a desperate attempt to find a cure, or at least a pattern. Her closest friend, and the only reason she still had a reason to hope, was Lieutenant Reese Calder, a former surface ranger and survivor of countless scouting missions. Unlike others, Reese had been exposed to the sun more than once and lived. He carried strange scars. His eyes shimmered faintly, unnaturally in the dark. He was changing, and he knew it. "Promise me," Reese said one night, his voice low and calm. "If I turn into one of them, the Ashborn, you end it." Kaylin refused to answer. Instead, she pressed her forehead to his, hands shaking. "You're not going to turn." But even as she spoke it, she wasn't sure. The story began in truth when the warning sirens howled across the bunker. A breach, not raiders, not a cave-in. Ashborn, they had tunneled through the old mining shafts. Dozens flooded the lower corridors, moving on all fours, screeching like metal on bone. The soldiers barely held them off. Kaylin, in the medical wing, sealed the doors with trembling hands as screams echoed through the pipes. Reese led the counterstrike. Half his unit was torn apart. He made it back to her, bleeding and wild-eyed. "They're evolving," he gasped. "They're smarter than before." That same night, Kaylin ran a scan on one of the wounded soldiers. What she found made her freeze. The Ashborn were no longer just feral mutations. They had a structure, a genetic lattice folding into organized clusters. It wasn't just random radiation damage anymore. It was intentional. Someone was guiding their evolution. In the days that followed, panic took over the colony. Food was low, morale lower. Some whispered about opening the gates and trying their luck on the surface. Others spoke of strange dreams, voices calling them into the sunlit wastelands. Reese, meanwhile, began showing signs he couldn't hide. His strength increased. He stopped sleeping. His body temperature stabilized in the harsh cold of the bunkers. When Kaylin scanned him, her heart broke. He shared 80% DNA markers with the Ashborn. But he wasn't mindless. Not yet. "I think I can hear them," he told her. "In my sleep, in the silence, they're calling and I know where they are." Against all logic, they formed a plan. Reese would lead a mission to the surface. Not to run, but to find the epicenter. The point of mutation, where the Ashborn were being created, bred, or controlled. Kaylin would go with him. She injected herself with a modified serum derived from Reese's blood, a risk, but the only way to protect herself from the ambient radiation. A team of 6 went up. Only Reese and Kaylin survived the first 24 hours. The surface was hell. Red skies, blinding sun, winds so hot they cooked exposed skin. And yet, among the firestorms and crumbled cities, they found something impossible. A tower, standing like a black needle in the middle of a crater, humming with energy and heat. The Ashborn surrounded it but did not enter. Inside, it was cold. Silent, they went in. What they found was not alien but human. A lab, fully operational, AI-controlled. A legacy project from a defunct corporate syndicate called Solaris Initiative. The company had tried to build a species that could withstand solar radiation. Soldiers for colonizing unshielded planets. They'd used genetic editing, viral agents, solar exposure. It had worked. Too well. The Ashborn were the result. A new species, half human, half solar, and Reese was a successful prototype. "I was created for this," he whispered. "I'm the bridge." Kaylin found the core, a control system capable of sending a pulse to all Ashborn within miles. A reset code, but to activate it, a host with the right genome had to link directly. Reese stepped forward. "No," Kaylin said, grabbing his arm. "If you do this, you won't come back." I haven't been me for a long time, he said, smiling sadly. But if this works, the colony survives, you survive, that's enough. She kissed him, not with passion, but with everything she couldn't say. I'll find a way to bring you back, she whispered. I know, he said, stepping into the chamber. That's why I love you. The pulse erupted across the wasteland. Ashbourne screamed, convulsed, and collapsed. The tower burned in silent white light. Kaelin barely escaped. She returned alone. The colony was saved. The Ashbourne no longer hunted, for now. Weeks passed, then months. Kaelin studied Reese's last data upload every day. She worked alone in the lab, her body slowly adapting to the serum. Her eyes, too, began to shimmer faintly in the dark. One night, while reviewing solar scans, she picked up a faint signal. Heartbeat. Familiar DNA signature. From the crater, Reese. She smiled, a broken, tearful smile. The story wasn't over. Love had survived the sun's wrath. Now it would defy mutation.